and welcome to the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast, Season 2.
With your host, Byron Rodgers. This podcast is dedicated to the executive protection practitioner, the private security professional. In this podcast, we're going to talk about the mental, emotional, psychological, physiological fitness that goes into being an efficient and effective executive protection agent. Whether you're in law enforcement, whether you're a mom that's looking at how to protect her children, or a father that's focused on how to protect his family, I believe this podcast has something for all of you. We might even get into some tales from the crypts of true Hollywood stories from time to time. I'm doing this podcast because I feel the reality of this job is simple. If you really want to be good at executive protection, it's more than just a job. It really is a lifestyle. And those of you who've been in the game for any serious amount of time, you already know what I'm saying is true. So if that sounds interesting to you, enjoy the show. Out.
Boom! Yo, what's up, guys? Byron Rodgers here, recording another episode of Considerations. This is, it's one of my favorite little mini-series that we do inside of the podcast. And we have a few of them, believe it or not. We have the EDC series that we've done with executive protection professionals and people in and around the industry. And then there's this one, there's Considerations. I'd like to roll out a few other types of series components to the content that we roll out for the podcast. And I've got some really good ideas. It's been a long day, but I love this project, so I'm gonna try to get to the spot, get to that genuine, real place for you guys, and talk about some of these things. I originally came across this content because I thought that maybe I should put together some rules for life, rules that have helped me govern my life, in the hopes, of course, as always, that these rules would help you guys govern your lives and you'd find utility in them as well. But of course, I wanted to make 10 rules. I'm at like 13. So we'll see how many of them I can run through until the end of this episode. Expansion as a principle. Expand your perspective. I think it's interesting and tragic that human beings have a tendency to think that what they can see is all there is. I think there's a lot to be said for the fact that the wisest man in the world, the man that was believed to be the wisest man in the world, was once told that he's the wisest man because he was wise enough to know that he knew nothing. Just think about it logically and realistically. Your sphere of influence and experience is only as big as your relationships. How many relationships do you think? How your relationships and the information you've been able to take in and digest and hold on to. So you can't. You really. I find myself being amazed by people who think that, the advice their mom or their dad or their pastor even, or, whoever gave them is like the end all be all. It's like, no, we're all humans. What's going to be right for my life is going to be right for someone else's life when it comes to most things. When you start getting into religion and things like that, okay, that's different. But when it comes to life situations, life circumstances, and things that are happening, the problems you're faced with in your life are relative to your level of intelligence, and they're relative to your ability to problem solve. The sophistication of those problems only still exists because it's a sophistication that you cannot overcome, that you cannot superimpose your will over. That's why it's there. So as you hear me say, if you follow me on any of my social media platforms, you hear me say all the time, if you want a higher quality life, you've got to make higher quality decisions. How do you make higher quality decisions? You get higher quality information. And that's the game. And this is really that expansive mindset. Always remain in a state of expansion. There's no other. Obviously, there's a time and a place for everything, but remain in a state of intellectual and inner psychic expansion, because your outer world will match your inner world. That's this whole entire thing. Your life is just a result of your internal world. You're a human being. Who you're being is a result of who you've become. And that all has to do with the real first challenge isn't managing your situation. The first challenge is learning to master your mind, learning to master your internal space. That's a Will Smith on it right there. It's Will Smith on that. This is where we lose. This is where we win, that internal space. Now, really, to go deeper into this principle, I have to talk about how you expand inner psychically, intellectually, emotionally. The way you do this is you continually take in information on your given topic, and now it's easier than ever to do so. We live in the age of information now. Used to be when you wanted to learn something, you had to go to the library and mess around with the Dewey Decimal System. Anybody remember the Dewey Decimal System? I do, because it was traumatic for me. I got Dewey Decimal System PTSD. It was so horrible. I remember it. The key to expansion is learning to expand your internal world. It's easier than ever to do so now. And the mean is still audiobooks. Reading is good for the mind. It is good for the brain. It's good for you on many different levels. You should read. The reality of life is that everyone is busy. So you need to find the most efficient mode necessary to resurrect as much dead time as possible and to get as much information inside of your brain, to download as much information as possible. What's that mode? It's audiobooks. Nothing beats audiobooks. There's no quicker way to get total lessons inside of your being while you're simultaneously doing something else, usually like driving, than audiobooks. If you like to read, that's great. Audiobooks is still superior because you can't learn as fast. I'll go out on a limb and say that you shouldn't have an hour to sit down and read in a day if you're serious about getting where you want to get. If you're serious about getting where you want to get, you don't have an hour to sit down and read something. And how much are you really going to get read in an hour? It's like, no. You need to be using your time more wisely than that. Your time in the car is time for learning. That's time to get after it. I forget how many books the average millionaire reads a month, but I do remember that the average American only reads one more book after high school over the course of their entire life. Like an American education should even count for it as an education. When's the last time you used something you learned in school? Anything past third grade when you learned to read and write? The entire thing was a complete waste of time, in my opinion. I've learned so much more from my deliberate audiobook journey than I learned about life and about how to become a better, stronger person from my deliberate journey of audiobooks that I even learned in my grad school and in either of my degrees. So I say all this to say, if you really want your life to expand, if you want a higher quality life, you've got to learn to make higher quality decisions. And if you're going to make higher quality decisions, you got to make higher quality. You got to get higher quality information. So this inner psychic expansion is one of the most, if not the most, like the foundational principle. Otherwise, you will never become mature enough to see behind your eyes, to see behind the veil, to see your blind spots, to see your immaturity, to see the things inside of you that need to be shaped and molded and that need to mature. And then beyond that, you won't have it'll take you twice as long to see those things because you won't have the strength to look at them. The other thing this does is it changes your perspective. When you're listening to the perspective of people who are doing more, who have become more, and who are operating at higher levels, when you're listening to their perspective, it's like, what do the problems in your world look like? They look like child's play when you're listening to the perspective of a person who's changed the entire world, dealt with quality problems of the world. This walks hand in hand with the very next principle. Unlocking your potential is the most righteous endeavor. Unlocking your potential is the most righteous endeavor. Why would I say this? Because the more of your potential you unlock, the higher the level you'll be able to serve on. And the more good you'll be able to do, the more blessings you'll be able to bestow, the more people you'll be able to free, the more people you'll be able to lead. The more valuable you are, the more valuable your contribution. The funny thing about that first expansion rule is that it doesn't really just stop there. This expansion principle is to do with everything. People ask me sometimes when I'm posting videos or I'm doing an event or I'm doing whatever, they're like, aren't you afraid you're going to make a mistake? And I'm like, no, I'm a mistake. I make 800 moves a day. I make a mistake, it's inconsequential to me. You know what I mean? I make moves by volume. And I think that's the way you got to be. It's just expansive. Oh, well, that last tip you dropped wasn't that heavy. It was weak. It was a bad one. Okay, cool. Well, I've got 100 of those coming out this year. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that last, video, whatever. It's like, yeah, well, I'm, posting something like 900 over 1,000 times this year. It's like, what are you talking about? So it's like people get wrapped around the axle about losing or making a mistake or whatever. And it's like, stop. It's like when you get one girlfriend who's kind of hot and you get tunnel vision and you let her jerk you around because you're afraid of losing her. No, spin some plates. Go talk to a bunch of women. You know what I mean? Learn that you can. Learn that you can. Once you know that you can, you never get fixated on what once was or even what once is if it's not perfect, because you know you can. And that's what this whole entire thing's about. You're never going to see it anywhere in the Bible or in any worth reading, worthwhile story, a hero who gets anything done for him. The whole entire thing is about learning he can. The beginning of the story, he's hiding out because he doesn't know he can. He's in the wine press because he doesn't know he can. He's on the farm hiding. He's trying to be a normal human. He's trying to get away from his calling. What happens? Something jerks him, yanks him out of apathy, puts him into a fight. He learns that he can't. David kills Goliath. The rest is history. David didn't even actually learn he could kill Goliath from Goliath. He learned he could kill Goliath when he was out there in the desert underneath the streetlights when nobody was watching, tending sheep, working hard when nobody was watching, and he killed the lion and he killed the bear. That's when he knew. That's how he knew he could. The Philistine was the victory that everybody sees, that everyone comes up and is like, wow, wow, how'd you do that? And he's like, how did I do that? I'm starting to learn, man. I used to listen to successful people and I used to be like, just tell me exactly how you did it. And now that I'm starting to get down range with some goals and dreams that I've had, I'm starting to realize people are asking me how I've done certain things. And I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea how I did it. I did a lot of these things because I made 865, 98,000, 4,500 billion moves. You know what I mean? From then until now. And it's not arrogance. It's that I'm that stupid. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what it takes for Byron to learn how to do something. One of my buddies was watching me do something, sent an email to my guys the other day. He's like, geez, man, it took you like 10 whole entire minutes. He's like, what? It took you like 10 minutes. He's like, actually, literally, it took you 10 minutes to do that. And I was like, yeah, that's why I'm a miracle, bro. I'm like, I ain't never going to beat you at anything because I'm smarter than you. I ain't that tall. I'm like I say I'm 5'10" with church shoes on. You know what I'm saying? I ain't the biggest, baddest. I ain't the sexiest. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really got a six pack. I got like the first two, got the first couple in there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like a little chubby kid that just went to the gym because I was chubby. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a kid that went to school because I was so scared of academics that I went to the Marine Corps during the time of war. I went to war instead of college because I was like, nah, I can't do this college thing. I'll fight, man. Nah. I'm just a kid who knew I was so mediocre that I knew I was going to have to just apply myself and win the accumulative score and fight the long range battle. And so now, after 300 and some odd audiobooks and a few college degrees later, maybe I start having a little something to say that might be worth something. You get pregnant with information and with desire. When you see, that other people might be able to benefit from something. If your heart is truly to help people, some people just want to watch the world burn. They'll sit back there and let you, accidentally pull your toenails off and not say anything to you. So I say all that to say, your potential. You're like the apple seed. What's that? It's a seed. It's an apple seed. You cut it open. It's like, what's inside of it? It's like nothing's inside of it. It's just seed stuff, seed meat. But realistically, there's a whole apple tree. There's potentially a whole entire apple. What is that? An apple orchard, apple vineyard in there? A whole one of those. That's how we all are. We're potential. And without some mechanism to refine us and to do what the soil does to the apple seed, the pressure, the moisture, the darkness, everything designed to push that potential up out of that seed. Without that, without life to force your potential, your destiny up out of you, you got nothing. But you got to remember, the same fires that forge certain people completely melt and destroy others based on your character, your ability to hold up. I've just learned that if you want to reach your destiny, you got to unlock your potential. If you don't do that, fate will fall. Fate will come upon you. And the more you focus on unlocking that potential, the more the life that you really know you can have will be realized. The more people you'll be able to serve with your unique gift, and the better off this planet will be. So there's no more righteous endeavor to yourself, to your God, to your family, to everything and everyone involved, than to unlock as much of your potential during your time here on earth. Do not trust the masses. People are stupid. It's that simple. Big groups of people are even stupider. People think they're right because there's other people with them. I really feel like I've learned that very many people don't think things through. And even fewer people know how to think deeply about a thing and really see into a thing. Trust yourself. Even if you're wrong, it'll be a learning experience for you. Learn to think for yourself. Don't trust the wisdom of the crowd. I wouldn't be anywhere close to where I am in a number of different endeavors if I didn't know how to simply trust myself. I can't tell you how many times I've chosen to trust myself. I can't tell you how beautiful my life is as a result of those times. You have an internal wisdom, and if you don't, you need to hone it. And the only way to do that is by learning to trust yourself. I believe that deep down inside, you know the right thing to do. You always know the right thing to do. The difficult thing is actually doing that. And without building that self-confidence, because confidence comes from experience, confidence is accurate, arrogance is inaccurate. Without building the right confidence, you're never going to do any of these things. You're never going to do anything great. Ever. More people suffer from inferiority complexes that damage their lives than anything else, really, in my opinion. Nobody learns that they can anymore because everyone's so perfect and so legit and so cool and so BA that they never go. People aren't humble enough to start anymore. It's ridiculous. It's painful. It's brutal. It's not the way it should be. That's one of the cool things about never being cool first is just, I was just like, all right, well, I already kind of suck, so I may as well just get in here and be weak for a while until maybe hopefully I can get strong. You really think I can get strong? I remember talking about, but you think I could get strong like that? And they're like, yeah, you get stronger than that, much stronger. I was like, me? Really? Learn to think for yourself. Never trust the wisdom of the crowd. When stupid people outnumber the cool people, the stupid people become cool. This one is the truth, especially if you're a truth seeker. If you're a truth-centric person, you've got to do the truth justice. The truth, if you see the truth, if you know the truth is depending on you to deliver the truth in a way that people will be able to absorb it, will be able to understand it, will be able to cherish it, will be able to treat it like the truth. It's a hard lesson. It's a hard lesson. It's a difficult one. Because the reality of this game is that the truth, sometimes you don't have to defend the truth, but the reality is sometimes you do, you know. Christopher Columbus, you know, don't be the guy trying to tell everyone the world's round when they believe it's flat, man. They might kill you. You know what I'm saying? You know, you go to work and you're the one guy with blue suede shoes and everyone's wearing pink shoes or red shoes. You'll notice it'll just be a matter of time. They'll try to kill you. You know what I'm saying? But don't doubt your own wisdom just because the masses are all saying to go to the left. I can't tell you how many times they all tried to convince me I was wrong. I started doubting myself. But just something inside me just knew better, like the grace of God or something was like, no, absolutely not. And this really goes for men. Because nowadays you're just told not to be a man, and you're told not to be a man and not to be masculine, and you should be emotional and you should be sensitive and happy wife, happy life, and you should just be like this soft, pathetic, feminized, castrated, emasculated, useless male. It's all fun and games. And I think honestly, they just want to see which one of the dudes they just want to see what men will actually do it. The whole thing is like a big litmus test. It's like if you're a man, you'll say no to all of this, but we're going to tell you can do it because it lets us know which ones of you are actually alphas and which ones of you are just betas trying to get laid. You know, I don't know. Maybe that was too raw. I'm just saying, man, like when the stupid people outnumber the cool people, be careful because the stupid people become cool. Man, there's a principle that is very true. So always, you know, sometimes you might want to ignore the stupid people, but when you ignore them, they have a tendency to multiply. So when you start to notice ignorance, start to notice the wrong mentalities at work and in places that you frequent, address it. Don't let the stupid people multiply. The truth matters more than everything. The truth matters above everything, more than even you. The truth matters more than me, more than my feelings. You want to have a close relationship? You think, be honest. There's no intimacy without honesty. You want to see if they really love you? Be honest. Can they love you for who you really are? You have an issue, someone getting on your nerves? Be honest. Someone damaging your life? Be honest with them. Be honest in the spirit of love. It's one of the most powerful things you can do. It's an invaluable thing to do in interpersonal relations and in interpersonal relations and relationships and things like that. Be honest. That's one of my highest rules now, is I'm just straight up with people. And it takes a lot and it's very hard. I am straight up with people. And even with that, I'll say that I'm 99 to 98% honest, which is a lot more than most people can say. Most people are realistically like 60 to 70% honest, 60%. Where their really close friends are like 70, maybe 75. In my bro sciencey estimations. I'm scorchingly honest, but I'm loving when I do it because I really am always here to help everyone. The only times I'm not honest is when it's something that it just is not productive. Like the things that are in the deepest depths of my heart, you know, like you don't need to know those things because, you know, one, they're all there. We all have them there. Two, we all know that they're there anyway. You know what they are. Three, it's not something that I'm planning on acting on, so it's irrelevant. Let me manage that trash. Don't bug me about it. You know what I mean? You got your own, you know, you manage yours, you know, so it's not profitable to even communicate about those things. The truth matters more than any of us. Here's one that I didn't think was so important. I didn't realize when I first read a book called Resilience by a Navy SEAL. It's a great book. Resilience is one of the most important things ever. Sylvester Stallone has a speech, and it's, you know, it's been made kind of cheesy because it's been overused, but he talks about how it's not about how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep going, and how much you can take and keep going. That's how winning is done. It's so real. I love Thanos from the Avengers. My favorite. Thanos and Bane are my favorite. Anyways, Thanos, I love him because he's a survivor, as he says. He's resilient. But I feel like Thanos, the hardest choices are reserved for the strongest wills. It's like he's been given the responsibility of this truth, this understanding that the universe and its resources are finite, and that if life is left unchecked, life will cease to exist. But all the happy, lovey people are like, you don't know that. And he's like, I'm the only one that knows it. And so his mission is to wipe out half of the life of the universe so that the universe can continue to thrive and it doesn't implode on itself and die the way his home planet died because they overpopulated it. They never really tell you whether Thanos was right or not. He succeeds in his goal. He wipes out half the known universe. Everyone cries about it. They all cry about it. But for all we know, Thanos may have been the most crucial superhero in the whole entire thing, whole entire story. And he never gets any credit because he had to make the tough decisions, and weak people never recognize tough decisions. They never appreciate tough decisions. They just cry about it. And they just, it's like raising kids. There's no way your kids are going to understand the wisdom of what you're trying to do when you're disciplining them and when you're not letting them go out. They're just going to think you're mean. And when you tell weak people the truth, that's always what they say. You're mean. You don't have to say that. What's that supposed to mean? It's like, no, I'm giving you constructive feedback about how you've been acting, your performance, and who it seems like you are. This is constructive feedback. You just don't have the emotional wherewithal, resilience, the emotional character to learn from it. You're going to implode and throw a fit because your parents didn't raise you right. They never told you weren't good enough, you need to do better, and you need to try if you want to actually be good. They just gave you participation trophies your whole life. Now you're underdeveloped. And I'm dealing with the aftermath of it. But I like Thanos, and I feel like, he comes to mind when I think about resilience. Because, as I'm going after my goals, as I'm going after my dreams, I'm going after my destiny, problem number 899,538 billion, you're solving problems every single day, all day long. It's like all the Avengers are just trying to stop you. Ooh, a sophisticated problem. Oh, there's another more sophisticated problem. Oh, there's an even more sophisticated, and the better you get. I can tell the manner of man you are by the manner of your problems, by the manner of the things that knock you off your horse, by the manner of the things that upset you, by the manner of the things that crush you, that cause you to get flustered, you get upset because what? Whoa, they mess up your drink at Starbucks. What's going on? Someone shooting at you, somebody bleeding out right now. And even if they were dealing with it, getting emotional about it, feeling all kinds of ways about it, isn't going to help solve the problem. Because at the end of the day, 1 + 1 can't be solved with your feelings. You can feel however you want. 1 + 1 is only going to be solved as 2 if you can logically figure it out. And so that's why I like Thanos, is because, people misunderstand him because he's so focused. He's so laser focused doing what he's doing. They think he's just, the selfish, horrible dude, when in all actuality, he's trying to save everyone's life. And he's got to do the hard things, much like a husband. He's got to go out. He's got to go to work every day. Kids are running around the house thinking that the dad doesn't love them. Dad's got to go to work. He's got to do the hard things. He's got to fight all these superheroes and dragons and demons, and they all band together because they don't understand what he's doing is hard, and it's got to be done. It's got to be done. And there's a moment where he's got to sacrifice Gamora, and she just starts kind of mocking him because his goal requires that he sacrifices something he loves, and the only thing he loves is her. And she's like, you asked for a prize and it told you no, you can't have this. You'll never reach your goal because you don't love anything. You've just been working on this goal you have of destroying half the universe. You don't love anything. So there's no way you can actually achieve your goal. So like the universe is laughing at you. And he looks at her and he's like, I've ignored my destiny once before, but I can't do that again. Not even for you. And he does what he needs to do to get to the next step, and he gets that goal. I respect it, because I understand it. Never let anything or anyone stand between you and your destiny. Never let anyone or anything stand between you and your destiny. It's what you're here to do. Never let anyone or anything stand between you and your destiny. If they're truly supposed to be with you, they'll understand, and they'll help you on the road. If they don't, get as far away from it as you can. Failure is the secret to success. Light implies dark, day implies night, life implies death. Up implies down, masculine implies feminine. Failure, victory implies failure. Order and chaos, the two heads to the same dragon, the circle, the snake eating itself. Yin and yang. The duality of life, man, ones and zeros. I'm not wrong. It's everywhere. Are they equal? I don't think so. Maybe, but I don't think so. I think order's a little superior, is superior to chaos. But would you appreciate the sun without the rain? Would you appreciate the day without the night? There's a polarity there. There's a relationship there. There's something there. I don't know. I'm not wise enough to know. I don't presume to know. Here's one, 34 loop. Either God can't destroy the devil or he chooses not to. Which is it? I don't presume to know. But I know at the end of the book I read, he lets him back out of hell. They ain't going to teach you that in church, but read your Bible. All I'm saying is there's a relationship there. Chaos and order. You need the chaos. Chaos is a ladder. To some, it's a pit to others. You need the chaos in order to place a demand on you, to require higher order. You need the chaos because it's how you arrive at a higher truth. Your adaptation reflex will not even respond without the chaos. Your muscles will not grow without the chaos, without shredding them up at the gym. Chaos is the fire that forges the strong of us. What you're listening to is a flow, a mini series inside of the larger series we're doing here with EPL called Considerations. And the goal with those is simply to get you to think outside the box, entertain new thoughts, entertain concepts that have helped me in life. Who am I? I'm not like the man or nothing, but I am a person who's willing to give you what I got and let you know what the test score, let you know how I got the score I got on the test. You know what I'm saying? I'm a guy who's willing to, I'm all about working together. In school, we're all taught not to work together. We're all taught your answers are your answers, my answers are my answers, but that's not really how you win. The guy that wins is the guy who can bring the most people together and get everyone working together, right? Survival of the group. So I'm the guy who's willing to give you my personal truths and let you do what you want with them. So I hope you guys enjoy this Considerations episode. Let me know what you guys think. I've got some amazing things coming up for the podcast, though. We're going to get a lot more onto executive protection centric content. This year has been crazy, so I haven't split off and done the Protector Nation podcast just yet, just because everything going on with planning for the symposium tour, Protector Symposium Tour. If you want to be a part of that live event, go check out protectorsymposium.com. We're doing some big things. We got some big speakers, and it's going to be a good time. And we're going to try to add a hands-on component. So be looking out for that as well. Some physical training to go along with the classroom stuff. So that's going to be big. And the other thing too, executive protection training day success package. We're growing faster. I believe we're growing faster than any other school in the game almost. I don't know how fast these other schools are growing, but we got over 70 students in our third month. And because of the model that we're using, the digital model, we're turning students out quicker than most schools can keep up with. And what that means to you is simply that the network, okay, the training, cool. The fact that you have access to the training forever, cool. You know, like, I don't know, having access to training once and thinking you can anyways provide and operate at that level is you know, arguable. But we're creating an executive protection underground. You see what I'm saying? The network of people who are in our course is going to be the largest network inside of the executive protection industry. So you want to be part of that network, and you want to be a certified executive protection specialist through us, because then you'll be part of that network, you'll be part of that group, you'll be part of those opportunities. And it really, 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 really pays. You know, your network will dictate your net worth more often than not. So I just wanted to remind you guys about that, invite you to that. Go to executiveprotectiontrainingday.com to become part of that. And remember, I literally become like your coach for your entire career. You have access to live executive protection, live meetings with me. And I help you, and the group helps you, you know, so it's an inclusive thing. We're all helping each other. It's not just some training, you know what I mean? So I think that's the best bang for a buck. And the price is going up here because I'm about to finish it. And once I finish it, the price will go up because you will no longer be beta phase, first responders, you know, so get in, go to executiveprotectiontrainingday.com to get in that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed these considerations, and I look forward to hanging with you guys on YouTube, hanging with you guys on Instagram, hanging with you guys on all the social media platforms. I look forward to seeing y'all on the next episode. Talk soon. Out.
Yo, if you're a private security professional wanting to take your game to the next level, go to executiveprotectiontrainingday.com to check out my personal success package for private security professionals. Check it out, executiveprotectiontrainingday.com. And remember, y'all, hard skills do save lives, but soft skills get you paid. Boom. Boom. And to support this podcast, go to executiveprotectionlifestyle.com and contribute to our Patreon account. That Patreon account is what helps me make this podcast possible, contributing to this brand, what we're doing here, making it so that I can bring better guests on, making it so that we can plan more events and just expand the contribution to the private security industry, and also to making America a safer place. Do whatever you can, contribute whatever you can, because it makes all of these things possible. Thanks for those contributions. Yo, and before we go, you know, I got a shout out to the sponsors, starting out with Primary Weapon Systems, PWS. They truly are the evolution of the rifle. Use Byron for 10% off. Grayman and Company, the most comfortable tactical suits in the game. Use Byron for 10% off with them. Ballistic Theory. You're going to start seeing a lot of stuff with me in Ballistic Theory because they got good ammo for good prices. Use Byron for my discount with those guys as well. Last but not least, Executive Protection Institute. Hey, go check them out and get your executive protection education on. Until the next podcast, this is Byron Rodgers, protector by nature and by trade. Out. Boom.